Morning, lockdowners. Right, I've been out delivering for the local food bank for people who can't get out, and I think they've got a lot of regular customers. It's in my local town, Radcliffe, which comes under the borough of Bury, and I've got a friend from Liverpool who works as part of a company that does social prescribing, and I was having a chat with him the other day, and he was saying that about how deprived Radcliffe is, and I was like, yeah, but you're from Liverpool, and you know there's a lot of deprived areas around there. And he said, do you know what? He says, I think Radcliffe's worse than the deprived areas that I know of in Liverpool. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I've been out delivering this morning, and I can totally see why. Obviously, I don't live in a posh area or anything like that. I just live in a normal, regular house. But I live at the bottom of an hill opposite a Barratt estate, and then there's a council estate sort of at the top of the hill. But where I've been going today, it's been awful. I was delivering a parcel, and there was a lad. I say lad, he's probably late 20s, early 30s, and he's banging on this door and he's shouting, effing let me in now, you effing let me in. And there was a woman stood at the window, and I thought, is that his mum? And she looked terrified, and the next thing he's put the window in, and that's what's happening. And that was about an hour ago or something. So about lunchtime, he's obviously already levered. He had cans in a bag. God knows where he's gone now, causing more havoc. And this is what people have to put up with all the time. And as someone who drank for 4 years, I understand that people sort of end up drinking against their will. And somebody who's in that state at that time in the morning, he's obviously got an issue. And, you know, when I've been going round there, I can just smell weed everywhere. And I think that governments need to realise that they need to tackle. It's no good cutting all the drugs and alcohol services the way they have done, because nothing's ever going to change. You know, you can't just expect people to wave a magic wand and not have drugs and alcohol anymore. That doesn't happen. When somebody's addicted to stuff, you've got to support them to get off it. And until people get that support to get off drugs and alcohol, the areas aren't going to change. And one of my colleagues, I do some stuff, as I've mentioned, for the Elephants Trail. And one of my colleagues, Carl, he was saying the other week that in his area there's people on drugs, and you know the other members of the community are complaining about it. And he was sort of saying that what you have to do is you have to show compassion to the people who are on the drugs or the alcohol, because they already hate themselves. So throwing more hate on them is just like throwing fuel on a fire. If you can try and show them a bit of compassion, you might be able to get them to open up about what the actual issue is. And try and support them rather than judge and blame and you know. And I've been guilty of it myself. There's some neighbours near my mum's that I've like thought, oh, I can't stand them because they're always dumping rubbish and stuff and being pains in the arses and having, you know, lots of antisocial behaviour outside their houses and stuff. And do you know what? After speaking to Carl, I thought, where was my compassion? Where was my compassion for this woman that I deemed as a problem neighbour? So, do you know what? The first time I'd seen her was actually after the coronavirus had just broke. And I sort of felt a bit guilty for not trying to find out whether she had any problems. And just thinking, oh, she's a pain in the backside because she's always got drug dealers round or whatever it was that are always at her house. And instead, when this has broke out, I saw her with her kids and I just said, hiya. I says, are you okay? Normally we just sort of glare at each other. I said, hiya, are you okay? And she went, yeah. I said, look, I said, if you need anything, I said, stick a note through my mum's door. I says, you know, I'll stick your number through my mum's door and I'll give you mine. Don't know, I didn't just give her my number there and then, I can't remember. I just said, stick a note through my mum's door if you need out. Anyway, that, you know, because I felt bad. I thought, do you know what? Yeah, fair enough. Their behaviour isn't how I think that they should behave, but that's wrong. People behave in a way because either they've not learned to behave any differently, or what's happened in their world up to now hasn't prepared them well enough to be a productive member of society in the way that I deem it. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's important to reach out to these people. And she was really grateful. And she said, likewise, if your mum needs anything. And I thought, do you know what? There is some good to come out of this. Because I've just sat there judging that lady for a very long time, just because the rubbish issues stressed all the old people around, and the noise and stuff has stressed all the old people around, including my mum. And, you know, so I've just seen it from that point of view, when really, sometimes having conversations with people and finding out what their struggles are and what it is that they need, you know, it's about having them conversations and bringing communities closer together, and that's what I'm hoping that this coronavirus does. You know, there's a lot of bad things that's happening. I've not even turned the news on yet today. Oh, best go home actually, because I've got a Zoom call shortly about this intentional peer support thing that I was talking about yesterday. So yeah, I'm waffling, aren't I? Hope you're all having a good day. I just felt like, yeah, Bury Council, shame on you for the way that you've neglected Radcliffe. And I'm so glad that Radcliffe First have got councillors now in Bury Council, because we've been neglected for far too long. And I've been out today and I've seen the state of the place in nooks and crannies that I don't normally get to visit, and it you know, it's disgusting the way people are forced to live. And the other thing I noticed as well, there was a few people who didn't speak English. I spoke to a young mum who was Albanian. She couldn't understand me. I was trying to ask her if she was okay. I said, where are you from? She said, Albania. And she just said, I don't really speak English. And I said, have you got enough to eat? And she said, yeah. And then there was a gentleman who he looked old and like maybe he should be indoors. He'd just come out of the local shop with some potatoes and some bread. So I thought, oh, maybe I can reach out to him. And I tried talking to him, and he was Polish. And I just think, do you know what? There's a lot of people that are going to be really struggling now. Speak to every single person that you meet, and try and, if they don't speak English, just try and communicate by sign language. Somebody gave me that idea yesterday, because I was saying that there's a lady on my mum's street who's I think she's Somalian with a young baby, and we don't know how to communicate with her. And then somebody said, try sign language, or not that I can do sign language, but you know what I mean, and maybe get an app on my phone. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's a suggestion if you want to try and help your local communities. If you're able-bodied and you're not having to isolate, you know, we all need to step up to the plate right now. You know, contact your local food bank. There's tons and tons of groups all over Facebook, COVID-19 groups. Find what's going on in your local area. Go out and do a little bit. Knock on neighbours' doors. Make sure they're okay. Especially if you think that they might be an asylum seeker or something and they don't understand, try getting an app on your phone just so you can communicate, because this is scary enough for us lot. Imagine how horrific it must be for people who don't speak English right now. They can't understand what's going on the news. They don't know how to reach out to people. You know, we've all got to think of other people right now, because we are all in this together. This has proved that this is one planet and it's one problem, and we have to help each other. And I just hope that after this, that, you know, John Lennon's Imagine becomes true. And that song really means a lot to me, because when my dad, I know I mentioned my dad yesterday with my tree hugging, and I hugged his tree, but when he was dying of cancer, 3 days before he died, I sat with him in his bedroom, and do you know what? I was on the wine, me, because that's what I used to get through, and that's what I used to do with anything. But so I was always, I was present, I was there, and I wasn't levered out of my skull, but I'd been on the wine. And I think that's quite disrespectful, really, thinking back now, that I wasn't. We all know that we're not the same person when we have a drink, and I just wish that I'd have been sober when my dad died. I'd have been there a bit more. I was there, do you know what I mean? I took him to his hospital appointments, probably hungover, and I was there for my mum, but I wasn't there as much as I could have been if it was now. But I remember sitting with him, and he used to love his music. And this particular day, he used to love a beer, but he'd not drank beer for months. He'd not been eating properly. Anyway, for this one day, he decided he wanted some beer. And he couldn't even hold his cup. He couldn't hold a glass or anything. But I didn't want him to feel like I was babying him. So what I did, I put it in a thermos mug, and I said, oh, I've put you some beer in here, Gordy. I said, because it'll keep it nice and cold. But it was so that he could drink it. He could drink it and be in charge of it himself, because he wouldn't have been able to hold a glass, and because it had a lid on it and everything, he weren't going to spill it all down himself. It was just trying to give him that little bit of dignity a couple of days before he died. And we'd got some sandwiches from Hamptons or something, and he'd had a little bit of a prawn sandwich, and everything he had, he was like, oh, that's lovely. And then he had a bit of coffee, oh, that's lovely. And then he had a bit of his beer, oh, that's lovely. And he loved his music, and I put some Adele on. I weren't into bloody streaming then. We had the radio on, and I put Adele on for him, and we sat and listened to it. And I remember, and the only song I remember on the radio was Imagine. So whenever it comes on, it reminds me of my dad. Getting a bit choked up now. But yeah, I just hope that one day the world is a better place, and I hope that people in this crisis help each other, because that's all we've got. All we've got is each other, and all that's relevant is love. You know, that's the only thing that matters in the world is love. And if you can give somebody some love, then do it. And if you're struggling and you need an hug right now, which I do right now, sat on my own, because I've not had an hug for I don't know how long, so I'm going to give one of myself hugs. So there we go. Reach right round. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Sometimes it's okay to not be okay, but it's also good to tell yourself that everything's going to be okay, because it will. You know, God knows how these nurses and doctors are coping. I really, really don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm all right. Give me head a wobble. I've finished my food bank deliveries. You'd have laughed. Oh, God. I'm going round all these places that I don't know where they are. And these estates where you can't really drive to them. I was like bloody Annika Rice running up and down. I must look like a right, not right. Anyway, Mummy's just messaged me some little bits and bobs for Janina. So I'm going to go ask her and get them. And I've just put a note on Facebook if any friends wanted anything. So I don't know whether anybody's commented. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, nobody's commented on it yet. But yeah, I need to hug a tree, but I'll do it after. I'll nip to Asda now quickly, and then I'll get home for my Zoom call with Tori. Yeah, I shall go out and hug a tree later. Do you know what? Sometimes it does us good to have a bit of a cry. That's the first time I've had a cry since this has all happened, so I think it was needed. Yeah. One love, babies. Mwah! I'm going to take them off because I've just kissed them anyway, and I don't need them now. I've got another pair somewhere. Ooh, proper sweaty. Weird. Right. Over and out, dudes. Have a good day.